The sun dipped low, casting golden hues through the forest canopy. As disciples gathered around the Enlightened One, silence reigned. Buddha sat cross-legged, his calm presence radiating peace. The air thick with expectation. My children, the path is intricate. What burdens you, traveler? Buddha asked, his voice resonating like a delicate thread weaving through the fabric of existence. My words faltered, emotions surging like tides, spilling stories of longing, fear, and the relentless ache for understanding and meaning. One disciple, restless, broke the hush. Master, what of loyalty? Should we not guard ourselves against treachery among our own? The Buddha's serene eyes met the disciples. Loyalty is tested not in harmony but in adversity. My dear student, as the lotus blooms in mud, compassion thrives amidst challenge, he continued, his gaze distant as if peering through time. In Rajagaya, betrayal found me, he began, his tone firm, unshaken by the weight of the tale he bore. Devadatta, his cousin, once trusted, bore a heart festering with envy. Grant me your Sangha, Devadatta demanded in a tense moment. I declined gently. Sensing the shadows within his heart, Buddha explained, leadership seeks not ambition but an unyielding spirit. That decision planted seeds of enmity. Devadatta turned his mind to treachery, seeking my downfall. Buddha's voice never wavered. He approached me with sinister intent, proposing harmful plans under a facade of loyalty. His hand gestured lightly. The wind rustled through the leaves, carrying the scent of blossoms. As Buddha began a story. Long ago, he said, there was a bird who sang only in joy, fearing the rain and silence of sorrow. Purpose is not found in the search, but in the act of embracing the present moment fully, he shared. Can I truly embrace life when pain and loss weigh heavily on every breath and every step? I wondered aloud. You can, through mindful presence, allowing each breath to anchor your spirit in the realm of now, he replied. Each word resonated deeply, carving paths of realization within my mind, carving solace within my aching heart. The desires of the heart often stir the waters of life into chaos, clouding your vision, he gently cautioned. But how do we distinguish the desires that guide from those that lead astray? I asked with earnest curiosity. Their faith illuminated the darkness of deceit, Buddha shared. One disciple, curious, asked, Master, did anger not stir within you? How did you quell the tide of emotion? Buddha smiled faintly, his hands resting lightly on his knees. Anger is a flame, it consumes only its bearer. Compassion shielded my heart. It is the balm to betrayal, a guiding light in darkness. Buddha spoke with profound assurance. Another disciple ventured, cautiously, but, Master, do betrayers deserve forgiveness? Should their deeds not warrant retribution? Buddha's gaze softened. Forgiveness is liberation. It frees the wounded and the wounder alike, unchaining hearts from suffering's grip. The warmth of his presence felt like sunlight streaming through leaves, reaching the untouched corners of my weary soul. How can I nurture self-love without falling into vanity or selfishness? I asked, fearing the dual edge of self-awareness. Buddha's tale of betrayal served not as lament but as a lesson, a testament to the resilience of compassion. The trials we face reflect the inner storms we must calm, he said, voice steady as branches swayed above. Buddha, will you guide me to the peace I seek? I asked, hoping for a path illuminated by his wisdom. Peace is not given nor found, but cultivated, just as gardens flourish when cared for with patience and attention, he said. But the weeds of anger and regret seem relentless, overpowering the blossoms struggling to survive. I said mournfully, let go of the weeds. Relinquish their hold by forgiving. For forgiveness frees the spirit trapped in past storms, he said. The air carried whispers of unease. Betrayal lingered like a shadow among them, unspoken but felt by every heart. Buddha's eyes rested on the group before him. My children, tests of virtue come unexpectedly, even through the hands of kin. A disciple hesitated before speaking. Master, how does one conquer treachery without succumbing to bitterness or despair? The Buddha nodded thoughtfully. Bitterness is a chain that binds us to suffering. Compassion breaks these chains, paving the road to freedom. In his calm voice, he began. Not long ago, a trial sought to shake me, orchestrated by one overcome with envy's grip. Beneath Rajagaya's scorching sun, as I walked the streets, a wild elephant was released to trample my path. The city trembled with fear, cries of panic ringing out, as the mighty beast charged toward me with blind fury. Master, did fear not cloud your heart? A disciple asked, wide-eyed, unable to imagine such composure amidst chaos. The Buddha smiled gently. Fear is the mind's storm, calm is the anchor. Love can tame the wildest tempest. As the elephant thundered closer, I stood firm, extending metta, a boundless love that knows no barriers, he explained. The beast halted, its fierce eyes softening as it knelt before me. Subdued not by force, but by compassion, the disciples murmured among themselves. Astonished by the power of metta, Buddha continued, hatred cannot extinguish hatred. Love alone conquers all, even in anger's roar. The heart seeks peace, he added, his hands clasped gently in his lap. However, Devadatta's schemes did not end there. His resolve to discredit me only grew stronger. Fed by ignorance, false words poisoned the ears of villagers. Seeds of mistrust planted in hearts once filled with faith. Master, how did you face such slander without anger clouding your soul? Asked another disciple, his voice trembling. Truth stands unshaken, Buddha replied. Falsehoods may rise like waves, but they crash and fade against the rock of truth. I chose silence, letting my actions speak louder than any deceitful word could, he continued, his gaze steady. To respond in anger is to amplify suffering. To mirror the ignorance we seek to dispel, he added. The Sangha began to understand that their master's stillness was not weakness, but profound strength rooted in compassion. In betrayal's wake, I sought no revenge. Retribution chains both the giver and receiver to suffering's cycle, Buddha explained. Instead, he remained steadfast in the Dhamma, teaching tirelessly, even as challenges swirled like storm clouds around him. The disciples leaned closer, inspired by the calm resolve their teacher embodied even in the face of relentless trials. Buddha spoke again. Through trials, the Sangha grew stronger, united by a shared purpose greater than personal grievances or fears. As night fell, the forest echoed with their master's words, weaving lessons into the hearts of each attentive listener. The road to freedom, they realized, was not devoid of struggle but illuminated by the wisdom gained through adversity. Another day, another challenge for the Sangha to face. The Blessed One gathered his disciples to impart wisdom once more. The forest was alive with gentle rustlings, the earth's quiet symphony punctuated by the calm presence of the Enlightened One. Children, Buddha began, his voice steady. A fracture has formed within the Sangha. Fueled by pride and divisive desires, the disciples shifted uneasily, their hearts heavy with concern. As the gravity of the words settled over them, a faction follows another path, Buddha continued. Devadatta's lure of severity has splintered some, but compassion remains our guide. A disciple questioned hesitantly, Master, how do we respond when unity is threatened and divisions deepen within our sacred community? Buddha's gaze remained serene. Unity falters not through separation, but through hatred. Seek compassion even for those who stray. Once, Buddha shared, Devadatta sought a stricter way, proclaiming righteousness while masking his ambition to gain dominion over others. He gathered monks, promising them a path purer, harsher, more aligned with their misconceptions of the Dhamma. Buddha explained, but harshness is not purity, and extremity is not truth. Balance defines the path that leads to freedom, he said. The division pained me deeply, not for the loss of followers, but for their descent into confusion and misunderstanding. Buddha said, even as Devadatta acted against me, I saw his pain, the suffering of ignorance clouding his noble intentions. Buddha shared, compassion never left my heart. Love for all beings, even those misguided, remained my guiding principle through these trials. One disciple ventured, Master, did his betrayal not anger you, seeing his attempts to disrupt and fragment the Sangha? Buddha shook his head gently. Anger clouds wisdom, blocks understanding, and chains us to the cycle of suffering we aim to escape. Though divisions arose, forgiveness and patience anchored me. For wisdom teaches that all paths may yet lead to awakening, he continued. Buddha's voice carried the weight of lived truths, resonating deeply within the hearts of those gathered in reverent silence. Devadatta's health faltered in the end, Buddha said. On his deathbed, regret softened his heart, and he sought reconciliation. He called for me, and I chose to go, despite all that had passed. Guided by compassion's unerring light, Buddha shared, when I arrived, his tears spoke the words his voice could barely utter. A plea for forgiveness and release, he said. In that moment, I saw not a betrayer, but a soul bound by suffering, yearning for the freedom of peace. Buddha explained, to forgive him was not an act of approval but of liberation for both him and myself. Buddha continued softly. A disciple's voice trembled. Master, how does one find the strength to forgive those who have caused such harm and discord? Forgiveness is a gift we give ourselves, unburdening our hearts and allowing love to guide us, Buddha replied with warmth. The past cannot be changed, but the future flows freely when unshackled from the chains of resentment, he added. Buddha's lessons wove through their minds, each word a thread in the tapestry of understanding and enlightenment. We cannot force others to follow the path, but our compassion may illuminate their way, even through their darkest hours, he said. The disciples nodded, their hearts swelling with inspiration, renewed in their commitment to the teachings of their wise master. As the Sangha reunites, we grow stronger, forged by challenges that refine our faith and compassion. Buddha concluded calmly. The moon rose high, casting its glow upon the forest, as the Sangha embraced the profound truth of Buddha's words. The story of division and reunion served as a testament to the boundless power of love, forgiveness, and unyielding compassion. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.